This is gonna be fun, GSM.
Okay, I'm going to release construction on SW31. Please be sane.
That's asking a lot of certain people.
And there they go.
Just to let you know, for people who are here, afterwards, SW31 is up for claiming. I don't think after we're all done, because I mean, y'all decide. Just don't make an argument, please. We just to let y'all know we chose the station because we're let's have some more building down there, please. Let's encourage the building. It's a place people don't usually build.
Oh gosh, the lag started already.
I think it won't be quite as laggy because everyone's in the same place and no one's really loading chunks.
Speak for yourself.
GPS is 14.
Speak for yourself. I'm gonna load all the chunks. Oh, my chunk stopped loading. Oh, hold on. They're going.
Oh, are we ready?
I don't think anyone's probably been in the Southwest that often, so we're gonna load a bunch of chunks down there if people just ran with one another. So it's gonna be. I feel it's gonna be like.
Oh God.
God damn it! Someone is doing bells.
Yeah.
Cookie is doing bells, of course.
Should we get started?
Yeah. Let's get started.
I
I
was
fixed that by turning off my Minecraft sounds. I would suggest that you all do. Okay, welcome everybody to the March 2020 General Staff Meeting. We are holding this one at Southwest 31 Station on the Southern West Line. Friendly reminder as people are building that if you have ridiculous potions in your inventory to get rid of them, they are not allowed to be thrown at people because that's really annoying.
anyone throwing potions will be sent to spawn.
Yeah, and admins can see in your inventory, and if you still have them in your inventory, we may issue kicks as well. So please don't be throwing stuff. Thank you. Okay, so we also, just as you may have heard from Yoshi, we're doing the same thing here that we did in February with H8, which here is an empty station that has nothing at it. So please build, and it will be available for claiming later.
Station.
Yeah. Anyway, so we had only one private topic in the entirety of the private portion of the meeting. We did not have any premier cities. We did not have any moderator nominations, but we did talk for over an hour about the survival server. Specifically, what our plans are if we wanted to bring it onto the main server, and what sort of thing that would look like. I'm pulling up the, okay. So in here is the magic thing that tells me what we decided on.
I tried to highlight it.
Yeah, thanks. Okay. So basically, as of right now, those of you who have played on the survival server, you may have seen the post from Vulpicula and LD that because of Zeta and funding and stuff like that, that the survival server test is going to be closing soon if it has not done so already.
My apologies. What did I miss?
I'm just starting.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So anyway, so basically, if you want to get on that, if it's still open, I think it is, take advantage of that while you can, because it will not be, it does not sound like it's being renewed, but that's Volpe and LD's decision, not ours.
Oh, yeah, it will be closing on the 18th, pretty much.
Okay.
The world will be saved, so, and if there is an interest in it, it can be brought back later. It ultimately depends on the community.
Yeah.
Wink,
but
wink.
anyway, so yeah, so the plan is that we will be asking some further survey questions, both from our perspective in the official MRT Discord server, and there will be some survey questions going out in the survival server Discord. We would really appreciate responses from everybody, even if you didn't play on the survival server. There are some data points that we're looking for to try and get that will help us prioritize when it will, if and when it will return. We've decided that while we're not going to be having it be a permanent thing right now, we may bring it back in the future, either in a similar setup where some folks start up their own server and run it, or we may in the future add it in a more official capacity. We do want to note a few caveats with that, notably that the heart of the community is focused on the creative server, and so all of our resources are prioritized there. If we get community support for survival and we have extra resources that we're able to add onto survival, then we may be able to add it at a later date. And it may be a thing that comes up at events and at special times of the year. It may be a seasonal thing. It may be, random times, whatever. If we do decide to add it on, we'll let you know. Some of the changes that we know we will consider at that time are surrounding the economy and the spawn rate. We noticed that there was a lot of discussion and feedback sent to Volpe and LD surrounding these two topics in particular, and the MRT staff noticed that there were several things about the economy that we would want to improve if it was brought into a more mainstream capacity. The big thing to note is that if it was to be brought over to main server, that the economies would be separate. We don't want there to be crossover imbalances because we believe that would give a pretty significant advantage and potential unfair advantage depending on how the economy gets used. And then, yeah, there may be some some changes made regarding like hardcore mode type things. Not like full hardcore mode where as soon as you die you get banned.
Hold on,
but-
Chief. Can I explain this part a little bit better?
Yeah,
Sorry.
you were the
Okay.
one who proposed it, so go ahead.
So for the people who are on the survival server, one of the problems with the economy on there was everyone would build their own shop, but no one would be buying things. So essentially a case of where there's lots of supply but no demand. And that pretty much not only just tanked the economy, but it also made it quite not fun for people, because why would you build a shop if no one's buying anything? So some suggestions that we thought about and discussed at the private portion was maybe making it more difficult for people, just upping the difficulty, and that's why some things like, having a penalty for dying. Maybe you have to revive yourself. Maybe more of a hardcore mode would be in the works. The survey that Volp released seemed to indicate that people wanted less mobs. We could also have less mobs, but just the other parts of difficulty would be harder. The other thing that I know was controversial was the keep inventory flag, which was turned on during the experiment, but we may consider turning it off to also up the difficulty. Though I do know that may be unpopular for some people. That will be one of the survey questions I think Volp will be posing again.
Yeah, keep your eyes peeled on the MRT survival Discord involving that.
Yeah.
And as for a summary of the hardcore, I'd assume it would be how do I say it? Avoiding death is easier, but the penalty for dying anyways is much more severe.
Yeah. And I guess the one last part is people thought that the map was too large. I think it was quite remote. No, there's not much interaction between players. So we're probably going to consider reducing the map size and also not using large biomes, just using regular biomes for that. So, Chief, want to continue from there? Sorry, I just wanted to make.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was some of the major points. I mean, if you guys have other points that I missed that you want to bring up, and then for everybody else, just know that we're expecting a good number of questions in the Q&A. So. So hopefully we'll be able to clarify things then.
Yeah,
if
like
Purple or Volpe, if you guys could clarify the things I missed.
Yeah, like if you want to let your opinion know on what we just said in the Q&A, please do. You can do it also in the survey question, but I think it'd be better if we also got some real opinions. And even from people who didn't play on the survival server too. Like if you're completely against the survival server, if you just play creative, well, we want to hear from you too. So.
Okay. I think that's it on that.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. And then just a small thing. I personally, I've noticed a lot of conversations in Discord and in chat, and various things related to COVID-19. Obviously, MBS has been posting a whole bunch of advisory things related to COVID. We would just like to ask everybody to please be respectful and considerate of everybody else and the amount of stress that this is causing. This is a first in all of our lifetimes situation to be dealing with. And so just recognize that it is real stress that you are feeling and experiencing. And please try to be additionally empathetic and passionate and patient with each other as you are building things. We recognize that some of you want to build and simulate a response to a COVID type situation, and that's perfectly okay. We know that there's a lot of roleplay stuff that usually happens, but just please be considerate of each other. We don't want to have to instate restrictions on that type of thing. And at this point, we're not in any situation where we would need to, but just please keep each other in mind as you guys are going about this, and do what you need to take care of yourselves and your friends and family. If you need extra time for asset transfers, we're happy to extend an activity clock if you're going to be away to take care of yourself or your folks. So please just let us know. And then also, along those same lines, because a lot of, especially in the US and actually around the world, a lot of schools are going remote, and they're asking their students to complete coursework online and stuff like that. So that means that we're going to have a little bit more traffic than usual on here. So please be patient with staff. We will try to assist you as much as we can, but just know that server performance may be slightly diminished for the next few weeks. Yeah. Volpe, you want to add something?
Hi. This is just probably. I'm not. I've waited to be fine, but if you're like me and you have a lot of issues with procrastination, it's people have in the past on the MRT requested to be banned so they don't procrastinate. If you're working from home, there's more likely to be a lot more temptation. So if you like a ban on the MRT so you can actually focus on your schoolwork, I think that's on the table.
Yeah, just if you think that would help, we're not going to do it of like banning people for running multiple bans on someone for days at a time or whatever. But if you think you need a couple week break or something, just politely ask your nearest friendly admin and we can help you out. So okay. Frumple, you have the floor for the first topic on Zeta migration post.
Yes, I'll try to make this quick. There's just a bunch of outstanding issues from Zeta. It seemed to have gone fairly smooth. We do need to render the 3D Dyne map. However, because of the TPS being low, I don't think this is going to happen anytime soon. So we might have to stick with having the 3D Dyne map unrendered for a while, unless you guys really, really want it. It's just that if we do run it, especially right now, because people are going to be on without the what's going on in the real world. Yeah, it's going to be just really, really slow. So
I will note that if you want a 3D render of your area, then you can just ask a staff member to do a Dyne map render, and it will be rendered in 3D and flat.
Yeah.
And please make sure to be reasonable with the radius. Don't tell us to do like 1,000 or anything.
I think even our normal max just radius of 500 might be a bit restricted. Heaven has been requesting that I keep it to no higher than 300. So
yeah, 300, 400s are at a good range.
Yeah, 500 I think is a bit much.
Yeah, just remember that that's radius, so it's going on all four sides of you.
Yes, it'll be 6,000 by 6,000. Sorry, 600 by 600.
Okay.
Well, and it goes in a circle, I think, but whatever.
Circles don't exist in this game. Get out.
I think it's a square. I'm pretty sure
it's a square.
Moving on. Moving on. We got a lot of other stuff.
Squares
shit to
versus
go.
circles
We
later.
can discuss circles and squares.
That's later.
We
That's
want to
later.
argue already.
Jesus.
Oh no.
It's just the first topic, guys. Okay. Anyway.
It's not even a topic.
Yeah, I think holding on the render probably makes sense.
Okay, so holding out the render. The next thing is there was the crashes with related to the two IKEAs. We still don't know what exactly happened, but basically, in case you didn't hear, when someone would first approach that area, the whole server would crash. But as staff, when us staff, we decided to look at all the other IKEAs. Only these two were the problem. And then when we tried approaching them, they did crash a couple times, but when we did them again, they stopped crashing. And Castle's theory is there's apparently floating snow in those areas. Maybe Paper was doing something to help out with that and fix the problem, or maybe it just needed time to process whatever it was doing, maybe physics or something related to that. We don't know exactly. Hopefully it won't happen again. I don't think there's any other places that this sort of situation can happen. But if it does happen, just keep in mind that might be the cause. So next thing, yeah, TPS again is bad. The theory is that as people continue to load existing chunks and also new Zeta chunks, it might get better. There's some indication that might be the case, but there's definitely sometimes when there's like a lot of even just a few players, but the TPS does tanks for no reason. I have done timings reports on this. The timings reports indicate that it's mostly chunk loading. It's not, and usually it's like entities, but even after we delete some entities, it does improve a little bit, but it's not significant enough to make a difference. So we're probably not going to bother trying to try to adjust entity
TPS. Yeah, TPS right now is okay. but I think that's because we've got a lot of people concentrated in
Yeah.
one area.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's at SW31. So as soon as we load it once, then it's like, that's it.
Yeah.
So I think it depends on what kind of things are being loaded in that chunk, and it's probably maybe some kind of mob or some type of block. I don't know. It's hard to tell, but hopefully we're looking at hopefully paper will provide some optimizations in the future. So we'll probably test that out on beta or something, or maybe we wait till 1.16 and maybe Mojang has their act together and maybe things will be better. I don't know. I'm hopeful.
Wishful
That's all we
thinking.
have at this point. And the final thing is, and Echo's done this a few times around Sunshine Coast, but found out that regen or any regens or set biomes, they cause rather large lag spikes, enough to cause, I think, people to actually get kicked out of the server, if I recall correctly. Right?
Yeah.
doing
The
a
other
huge
day I
damage.
tried to do a set biome in the Sunshine Coast region, which on Epsilon would have not caused particularly much lag, but it kicked a bunch of people from the server. So
I think it would
set
be
biomes
safe.
and regens would not
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, I think it would be safe to put a hold on all of that for staff. So, guys, don't ask staff for any changes in biomes for now. Hopefully later, when things are performing a lot better, then we'll open it up. So, fix your crap, Mojang. Yes.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
Yeah.
I am done here. Go ahead, Chief, for 5B.
Okay, franchises. So this will be fun. So if you guys remember last GSM, we had a bit of a discussion about what mayors should and should not be allowed to do to franchises within their own town unilaterally, which means on their own without permission from the franchise owner / franchisor, if you want to be technical about it. So one of the main sticking point, the only thing that was really unresolved is what happens to existing franchises within a town, because there's kind of a bit of an ambiguity in there. That's the wrong doc. Okay. What I am proposing with to try and resolve that is basically just kind of keeping things as they are for now, and then effective at the May GSM, all franchises would then fall under the rules that we outlined last GSM. So basically that basically gives folks a couple months to get things in place, and then after that, then the modification rules that we set before apply.
Chief, your mic quality is going down a lot. By the way.
Okay. I'll give me a second. I'll play with my drivers, but yeah. So that's what I'm.
I mean, Volpe, we talked about this a bit. I see this during the Pride push as well. Yeah, Volpe, I think you and I were talking about this a lot. I think especially during the last GSM. But
unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, but I think we at least we've kind of come to at least somewhat of a conclusion of that, like, people who have franchises do have to have certain rights within their own, like,
I still disagree with that, but
you at least you go ahead. You go first then.
Firstly, I thought you were left wing. I thought you hated property rights. Secondly,
What?
I was too busy focused on that I actually forgot any real context I had.
Okay, Volpe, can we please not have any those sorts of
Yeah, sorry.
in this meeting?
It was a joke entirely. I don't actually mean that.
That's not something. Yeah, let's not do that.
Yeah, sorry.
No.
What were we at? So
Franchises?
I figured that the current thing as proposed by Chief is fine. I'm not particularly happy about the fact that I still have to go after that, and I think we did actually talk about the cases of franchise owners where it's they've been inactive for 3 months, pretty much. At which point it's impossible to get a contract from them, so they're stuck in limbo like that. I think is there something in there to prevent such a thing from happening aside from just auctioning the franchise?
Well, so if there's absolutely no way to know who a franchise belongs to, there's a procedure in the existing rules for that, which is basically that while you're not claiming ownership of it for the purposes of adding more franchises to the server, that then like if you have no idea who it is, but you know it's a franchise, that then you're able to modify it as you need to. But as for franchises where we do know who the owner is, but it's just that they're inactive, then those you would need to take over through the IAT process.
Kitty is
Okay.
saying, sorry.
Yeah, this is what we said at the last GSM. Go.
Kitty is saying in Discord, I don't know if it's relevant, you can still remove a franchise at any time. Even if you can't modify it, you can remove it if it is in your own town or
Yes.
in your.
You can also ask any franchise owners to agree to waive franchise rights as long as you can contact them and have them agree to.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the cooldown would be on May 2020, right? So if we're unable to get such thing, would we absolutely have to do an IAT? In which case, I'm expecting an influx of those.
Well, so I mean, you can do an IAT at any time as soon as it becomes eligible. The main thing is, because the IAT is the 3-month threshold anyway. So what's happening on May 9th at the May GSM is that puts all franchises under these rules and basically says that town mayors can't modify the interiors effectively, or just town mayors can't be editing them unless there's an agreement that waives that rule. Because that's really the only point of contention that we had at the last meeting.
Yeah.
All right, I think that would be fairish. I don't think I think later on we'll probably have to do some fleshing out of contract law, what counts, what isn't counts. And basically, currently we've had it so it's unilateral in its ability to. In terms of pulling out of a contract, how did we settle on that being done? I don't think a franchise owner can pull out once it's been established, right?
So, I mean, again, if we could try to use franchisor to mean the parent company, franchisee for the town mayor who owns it, because like franchise owner can be a bit confusing because it could be either.
I feel like I don't know. To me, like I know there's these two words. They're very similar, but there is a difference. I mean, franchise owner I think works as well as fine, just because like I think if you build in someone's town, they don't necessarily own the franchise. I don't know. It feels like
anyway.
Yeah, I mean it as whichever of those franchisey thingy-jiggies that indicates the actual. I can't use owner, can licensor and patent holder towards the franchise. I forgot.
Builders.
Okay. So I think there's a few things to talk about there. One, I mean, either party can remove the franchise at any time. That we're allowing.
Well, either party.
I think that we really.
Yeah, either party.
Well, either.
Oh.
Yeah. As a if you have a franchise that you are building in a bunch of different locations, and you're like, oh, I want to close this store. Like that's long. It's long been agreed implicitly that you can just close your own store because you own that.
Go ahead.
I remember speaking specifically with Autobus in regard to this. I mean, aside from the obvious, the franchise town mayor person would have to, be refunded in that case. He mentioned that it could be used maliciously almost. Like if, let's say you have a fight with somebody and they decide to retaliate by saying, oh, well, all my franchises in your town, I'm revoking. How do we counter that, if at all? Should we counter that?
I don't. I'm. The thing is, I don't think we should, because the thing is, while it is like an asshole thing to do, anyone could do that in any circumstance. If I don't like
Yeah.
you being at my airport, or I don't want to be at your airport, I can just remove my gates. I can ban you from my airport. Like, it's an asshole thing to do, but people have the right to do it. Where it only becomes a real issue where we have to step in if it becomes personal and it actually gets like out of line. That's the thing we need to step in. Otherwise,
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's
technically
targeted
something
and
wrong.
if it's targeted and it feels like brigading and a personal attack thing, then that falls under most important rules 1 and 3. But if it's just like, hey, I've decided I want to pull out of having a franchise in your town. Sorry, that's just the business decision that I've had to make. That's their decision that they can make, and we've allowed that, since the beginning of franchises.
Yeah.
So I think that either party can do that. Now, there's no official rule that mandates a refund, but common sense and longstanding tradition says that you should be refunded.
We can. The thing is, I wouldn't mind specifying that, like saying, like if the franchise owner like chooses to pull out, we can they are entitled to a refund in a way. Like, okay, I'm trying to think of a reason where you wouldn't be entitled for a refund, which I can't really think of any.
I mean, yeah. Well, I don't know. But anyway, it's like that would be the only case where I think that we would really need to get involved with that. Absent that, the purpose of an agreement between a franchisor or franchisee under these rules is if you are relaxing the modification provisions, and or the relocation provisions. And I mean, I think that's really just an agreement between the two parties, and as long as both sides are in agreement and there's evidence that both sides have acknowledged and are in agreement, then that's fine. I mean, I don't think we need to mandate a specific format or like registering it or anything like that.
What's crashed?
Mumble's server crashed.
Mumble server and the MRP
It was a massive wave of leaves and joins during that
Yeah,
time.
it was
What
just
the
lag.
hell is happening?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
and people are spamming bees everywhere, so I'm
Why
trying
are
to
there
butcher them.
bees? Yeah, don't spam those.
Nicolas Cage. Sorry.
I'm gonna kill all the bees.
I
they're
butchered
dead.
106
Okay.
bees, so
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think you bring up we should though do specify that if the person who owns the franchise owner, wants to basically wants it removed from the town that they built it in, and the town owner paid for it, then they should get a refund.
Hold on. Sorry, I've got a really weird proposition. So in the last edition of this, we basically stated that a franchise town mayor can't move a franchise he paid for to another one, correct?
yeah, franchises can't move across town borders.
But what if a contract between the town owner and the franchise owner said that he could?
Again, I think all of these
that's
are
allowed.
able to be waived. All of these are waivable.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a waivable provision. Yeah.
Okay, so basically, contract law can basically override pretty much every aspect of franchise law, I suppose.
Yeah, because I think the thing about these rules are very much about deals between people. So unlike other rules that are very much like you're allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do this in regards to like other people's other people like building cities. I think this is very much different. It's like this is how we are allowing you to facilitate a deal anyway.
Yeah, especially since it's quite like
The other thing,
integral for cities to,
the other thing
if
too
you're a
is
city
that
owner, you might want to do something like that.
the server rules also, as they're written, they define the most restrictive state, and we do not. Agreements cannot impose so the only thing that we allow you to do further restrictions on is by like if you have a mall or something and you're saying, okay, you can build in this space and like don't touch these walls and stuff like that. But like we otherwise any of the rules there can be waived, which means that they're being effectively relaxed of what you're allowed to do. So and yeah.
Okay. Can I throw a wrench into this?
Okay.
Oh no.
Great.
It's completely different. The rules that I'm seeing here are quite, I guess, wordy, I'd say, to the point where I feel like there's a lot of little conditions. Is there a way to TLDR this or remove provisions just to make it little less
Probably. I mean, it's basically saying, that the franchisee, the town mayor or whatever, can do these things, but they cannot do these other things without approval. Yeah, I mean,
I think he means
That's
like
the
to
rules we have now.
TLDR the individual rules themselves. Franchise Rule 10 is incredibly long.
Not the individual rules. I just want a summary of what can the mayor do, what can the franchise owner do.
Yeah.
That's it. If you want to put details about like disputes and stuff, you can add those. I just don't want those front and center.
Yeah, that probably would just need to be a footnote then.
Yeah. Or
that's reasonable. Okay. Yeah, I think there is a way to do it. I just have to.
I'm just worried that people who want to get into the franchise, they come and read these rules and they'll be like, there's a whole wall of text, and then they'll be like, then yeah, I don't.
No, I mean it's a fair evaluation of that. So yeah, I think that's reasonable to have it need another pass. Okay, so but are people okay with the concept of what I'm proposing, even if the actual text needs to be shortened and rewritten?
Yeah, it seems fine. I think I am. It's probably good that we did get this sorted out, even though it may not be a result that I wanted. Yeah, I don't see any issues with this. The time limit is long enough. I think it's just going to. I'm expecting an increase in the amount of asset transfers, as people probably want to keep certain franchises in their town, even though the mayor's long gone. I mean, owner's long gone.
Again, if you do nothing, then it stays there.
I do want to clarify, because I was talking to Will about this as well. If for for people who are concerned, like, the person who builds my town, they're offline, maybe they've left the server or whatever. If you don't plan on doing anything to the franchise, there's really no need to get an asset transfer for it, and there's no need to really want to make sure to get permission, because it's really only if you change it, then you have to get permission. Obviously you might be like, but like if this person leaves, I want to get it's very much like if anybody leaves, you're gonna have to make sure to get their permission. So I think it's just like I take it on a case by case basis. Don't stress about it too much, because I know some people are stressing how to get all these permissions. Just get it when you need it. It's much simpler and less stress on yourself if you do like that.
So next.
Yeah. So I mean, I think we'll deal with it if we need to. So okay. I think we're good. Unless anyone objects. What is texting me? Okay, we're fine.
Next.
Okay. Next up is arguing about distances, and so these. In chatting with a few staff and looking at the comments, these would almost certainly be added as a footnote rather than injected into the rules text themselves, just because it's a technicality. The reason that I brought it in is because it says 300 blocks, and there are multiple ways to measure 300 blocks, and just in the interest of clarifying things, I just wanted us to settle on which method are we using. So
yeah. So when I was just talking about some people about this, so the main two ways people are measuring are basically Euclidean and chessboard. Obviously, if you don't know, or it's a bit, these words are kind of a bit big, or they're a little jargony for some people. In short, basically to use the Euclidean distance, it's using the distance formula, and you might have to, put two coordinates, whatever, or /size if you've ever done that. The chessboard distance is two coordinates, z minus z, x minus x. The longest one is the distance. That's it. Some people, I've seen people do Euclidean and chessboard. I don't really think I've seen anyone do Manhattan or taxicab. But I think for simplicity's sake, and I think also just because it's, I think, easiest to calculate, chessboard, I think, is what we should probably go with. It because it does also give more room for people to expand, but it's also pretty simple for calculate. Just take 2 points, z minus z, x minus x, whichever is, bigger is the distance.
agree with
Guys,
Yoshi
what
here.
the hell are you doing in the bunker? Get out of the bunker.
Yeah, let's not. Yeah,
Let's get out of the bunker, please.
Just because the guest is on, you
Okay.
don't need to
I
like
agree with
freak out about
Yoshi
it.
here. I figured Minecraft.
Keep everything
Go ahead.
simple. That's the best way.
I agree with Yoshi. That's how I measure things, anyways.
Yeah, and
Is
plus they all
chessboard?
have access to. It's member and up that have access to size, correct?
No,
I believe it's
please,
trusty and up.
size is Euclidean, not chessboard. Size is
Well,
Euclidean.
size will give you. I mean,
No.
size would also give you this information because I believe it will give you every dimension of the.
It'll give you dimensions, but it won't give. But it'll say like because there's a distance thing. I think it'll tell you in Euclidean. The reason
But
reason
it
I'm
would
more against
also
Euclidean.
have. It would also have the chessboard distance.
Yeah. Just the reason that I'm more against Euclidean is also just because the answer you'll always basically just answer answers in decimals, and with chessboard it's going to be all easily round numbers.
So hang on. So if go select an area and there's a line directly above where it says cuboid distance. Where it says
that is cuboid distance. Cuboid distance is Euclidean.
Yes, that's corner to corner.
But
then size, the numbers above, those are all the dimensions of the cuboid. And so for that,
Yes,
you're just
so
looking,
it's gonna be
is
the
there
larger
anything
one.
above 300?
Yeah.
The advantage that I see with chessboard over Euclidean is it's really easy to spot check on Dynmap, especially because it's only one number that you have to look at. But both methods do have their place.
I wasn't aware that you can actually get the cuboid distance just with a simple / size. So it seems that with Dynamap, it seems that chessboard is easier. With like a World Edit Wand, I'd imagine just calculating the cuboid is easier. Just unless I've missed some data somewhere.
They're
I may have
both
cut off.
available in the region size data that you would get from running.
Yeah, so it gives you a triplet of 3 numbers when you do the cuboid size.
I gotcha.
Yep. Yeah, so both are easily available. Yeah.
There's some people are posting a couple opinions in chat and Discord, but I'm not seeing. If you guys have any strong opinions about it, please let us know.
Yeah, no, the thing is for you can yes, so that's what you can write to the largest, but the thing is I know some people do want some distance within their towns. Chessboard does give you a little more distance. Chessboard does give you more difference, and also it is a bit it is easy to calculate. For example, if you can't get in a game, you can also just look at Dynamap and do it. You're gonna have to do math either way. I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna have to do math either way. You also don't have to do math either way because size gives you both numbers anyway. But with also regards to Euclidean, because of how Minecraft is solid blocks, it just kind of makes much more like logistical sense to do it in chessboard because diagonals aren't truly diagonals in a way.
The other, another thing with, as much as I would hope that people are able to do their Euclidean things accurately, that getting the Y level right could be a pain. If you have your Y level wrong, then you're going to get a wrong distance measurement, whereas chessboard doesn't care. So.
Euclidean would be more accurate if we weren't all working on such a small scale with pixels.
Right.
If it was more zoomed out, like if because we have Minecraft is all in squares, think of it like a very zoomed in picture. It would be more accurate if it was zoomed out. If we thought about on a big scale, like maybe 10,000 block scale, but since it's 300 and 500, it's much easier.
Go ahead, Castle. Keep in mind, Euclidean is not usable space, right?
Yeah, that's a protected region.
It's not 300 blocks of usable space.
It was only 300 blocks in a straight line. So if you deviate diagonally a little bit using Euclidean, it's going to be less than 300.
Yeah, it's not a whole lot.
John Guy's mentioning another advantage of chessboard. Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
It's
212 if any.
John Guy, that was already mentioned anyways, so
I don't think it really.
Okay. I think the consensus is chessboard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds
right.
accurate.
There are a couple people saying Euclidean, so I don't say it's.
For the Euclidean argument, all I've seen is it's more accurate, which we no, which is not really. I mean, accurate. I think is arguable what accurate is determined, and I think that most people are okay with it being simpler. And I think chessboard is much simpler.
I think it would be better to have a simpler measurement that's less likely to have people error with and make wrong judgments than a a system which is less accurate but far more reliable.
Keep it simple. I like it that way.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Chessboard.
Chessboard.
Sure.
Chessboard. Okay. And again, this is just like the rule itself is staying the same. This is just a technicality of how it's being measured, so that that everyone can be in agreement of how the boundaries should be determined. Okay. The other one again.
So, Chief, could you mention on it that they could just run the size with the world edit wand?
Yes. Okay. 20E is not really necessary because we have World Guard. So Frumple added a comment. For those who can't see it, Frumple added a comment just being like, we don't really need 20E because we have World Guard to enforce it. So I think that's fine.
Yeah.
To drop that.
All right.
And the last one, again, that's just another technicality. Do we need that? I mean, the comments make it seem like no.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think we need that.
I think the way that we
All
do
we're
it
doing
right
is
now
clarifying
is fine.
how we measure block distance for the remainder of the rules. I don't see why we need to restate every rule here that involves block distance.
It's
We just
only
need to
that one
state
in
what we're
300, 500 actually.
I do actually have a question. Why for rail lines are we using Manhattan distance? Why?
So, well, I mean, so what we generally do is it's like basically run a string along the middle of the track approximately. I mean, what happens is people will plan out their lines, and it's not going to be exact. This is just a coarse delineator thing. But it's like if you think that your tunnel length is going to be over 4,000 blocks, then we just ask people to get an okay via email first, just so that we don't have tunnels everywhere that are super long and don't connect to anything. So, yeah, the main reason that I put that in there is, it's like running a string along. So say you have a track that loops around itself or kind of does a big U-turn, that will generate a different result. But again, it's a technicality, and I think we've already established just with precedent how we calculate it. So I'm fine.
Yeah, I think the way that we already calculated is fine.
Okay.
How is it currently calculated, if I may ask?
Again, it's people who are so it's rail companies who want to build longer than 4K send us an email with the proposed path, and it's basically just path length, but it's between the shortest edges. It's the shortest distance between platforms following the track.
Oh, okay, I see. So it's even if there's like a spiral shaped rail, it counts as 4,000, even if it's only 200 blocks away station to station.
Yep.
All right, that makes sense.
Yep. It should follow the length of the track that you're building. So, okay, so we'll drop that.
Some comments are coming in.
Okay.
Fred doesn't like it. Kitty is asking how exactly these are calculated. I'm not sure that answered the question.
Where are these comments?
GSM discussion.
GSM discussion.
I don't have my other screen right now, so I'm a bit slower in seeing those.
So as Chief mentioned, if I'm reading it right, basically it's like threading a line down the railway and calculating how long that line.
Yeah, and again, it's not meant I personally would not get mad at you if you asked for an okay and your tunnel winds up being 3990, or if you build a tunnel that's like 4010 and didn't realize it was going to be precisely that long, just because the nature of this rule is it's of a proposal. But it's like if you're doing your planning and it's going to be over 4,000 long, then we'll ask for an okay.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
it doesn't have to be like really exact.
He did also mention how they're. He wants to know how they're calculated on the diagonal section. I assume it's just be a simple, just one block kind of. I'm trying to describe it. I just don't have the word.
So what are we we deciding here? Because I'm not sure if is this the right way of doing it.
Kitty still has some questions about how the length is calculated on diagonal sections.
Okay. Here's a better question. Do we want to spend this much time debating this? Because I feel like it's
Definitely not.
That's a
Yeah,
fair
I
point.
don't think it's that important.
Agreed.
We can put it off for some other time, or maybe someone can actually do a bit more analysis about it.
Yeah, I think
I don't think we've ever counted the y distance for rails.
no, we don't. It's only X and Z. It's just like the 300, 500 claim rules. So. Okay. So then we'll, I think, just leave that one as is. The only clarification to just make to staff is that these, if it's purely a 4K waiver, those can be processed via email. Those don't need a full GSM. The only reason that it would need a full GSM is if it is including an inactive town bypass as a part of that. Okay.
All right.
So I think we're leaving it as 300, 500 go chessboard. The other two we're ignoring.
On to 5D.
5D, this is adding cyan concrete as UCAR's drivable block by Needham and L.
Sure, why not? Let's just.
Needham, hold on. Needham, you're in chat right now. Would you like to speak at all, or is whatever you said pretty much? Okay, you can't come on audio anyway. Okay, that's fine.
I mean, I'll give it a defense because I think I agree with you. Because the cyan concrete is used, I think, or no, is it concrete or terracotta? Concrete.
But it's concrete and concrete powder, I believe.
The proposal is only for concrete and powder. There is a response I made below, but yeah. But yeah, basically, if we do concrete and powder, we should probably do wool and terracotta too, just for consistency.
Testing.
Because those are the hello, you can hear you. But because the other colors, which are specifically yellow, white, gray, or maybe probably both kinds of grays and black and yeah, I think I said white already. Those ones also, all four concrete, powder, wool, and terracotta are drivable. So this so it is essentially just add one color, make sure all types of materials are drivable for that color. That said, I also mentioned I'm generally against adding more colors because that increases the chance of putting UCARs in really weird spots and people leaving them there. But for one color, this might be okay. So.
There's Imperial Blox's addition to that, which states that he would like all concrete and all concrete powders to be drivable.
I don't like that.
Yeah, all I'd say is a bit much. At the very least, I think red shouldn't be drivable for the sake of how I've seen that used.
Red is used in roads as well.
But red's often a do not go to section.
Kitty says, I mean, we already put UCARs in weird spots. We have quartz and stone slabs. My point is try to reduce the chance of it. I know it's possible, but I want to try to reduce the number of blocks overall.
UCARs can naturally fly off and fly into forests.
I do want to bring it back. It's related. It's related, but not. It's directly related, but it's not kind of to do this proposal. It's kind of more to UCARs in general. So, the time actually put this out to me. There is an issue with UCARs, where that if you put it on any rail line, my guess is it has to be a drivable block under. You place it on basically any rail line, such as the MRT, and you basically press forward. It just automatically turns into a UCAR minecart, which is the one that goes super fast, and essentially basically kind of makes it difficult to start riding on a MRT, basically MRT line from the middle of the track or anything like that.
Pretty much any metro, actually. Earlier I was trying to use the Deadbush Metro, which requires you to press forward to move, and it was pretty much impossible to use because it would always fly off the track at every corner.
Yeah, so honestly, I'm kind of wondering, I don't know what some of the thoughts on that, and
this is new behavior, isn't it?
It is new behavior.
Okay,
yeah.
I remember this being.
I feel like we're Sorry, I feel like we're getting. Can we focus on the UCAR's blocks first?
Well, the reason I bring this up is I'm saying if this issue does break so many things, is it worth having UCARs on it?
I don't think disabling UCARs. People not be happy with that.
Yeah, the thing is, I was a proponent of UCARs, especially for the basic race and stuff. But like, if it breaks all basically rail lines where you have to place carts, that's a really big downside.
Okay,
I think people already know my opinion on UCARs, but
so then my question is: so does UCARs no longer do the crazy thing where it flies everywhere?
Or... Oh no, they still do that.
It still does.
So they actually change. Okay, that's interesting.
There's a little bit of pull. Sorry, I just want to respond to the comments made. Kitty, it's not griefing that I'm worried about when it comes to UCARs. I'm worried about people accidentally keep putting UCARs in buildings and leaving them there. It does count as an entity, and it does contribute to overall server performance. It might not be a humongous amount, but I don't know. I just don't. I want to try to keep it limited. The other thing is every time we do add more blocks, we can't remove them ever again because people will start building their roads with say we approve blue blocks, and up to JTrain's point, like he's suggesting removing concrete powders. That's probably not going to work because if all the roads that are built with concrete powders right now would stop being draggable, and that
I will also note some people, specifically MC Protocol, build their towns with more combinations of blocks, and some of those are just entirely unusable with UCARs, so you can't drive UCARs in MC Protocol's towns.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to build that, that's your choice as the person building the town, but I would say never build a town with the expectation that we will add certain blocks.
But yeah, I know it does seem related, but that's the reason I brought it up. I was saying do we want to keep UCARs with it breaking all the basically rail lines? And I honestly think it might be good to ask people that. Do you guys for the people who are here? What do you guys think? Do you think it is worth to keep UCARs even though it breaks basically any physical rail lines such as the metros and cities and stuff like that?
I would rather have metros than UCARs, which are already replaceable with horses. But
this might be a survey question, maybe, because
that's what I'm thinking.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, this is a survey question.
And all we're trying to do here is decide whether we need this concrete. We're not talking about getting rid of UCARs right now.
Well, no, the reason I bring it up, I'm saying, is if we agreed on that, then this would be irrelevant. That was the reason I brought it up, just in case.
Yeah, that's true.
I personally think that I'd rather keep them simply because there are some things that you can only do with UCARs. I'm probably biased here because I do run a thing based entirely on kart racing. This is also, again, not really that related. I think if we do it, it'll have to be asked in a survey question.
Yeah, the thing is, I also have vested interest in it does help the Maze Race work a little better, but at the end of the day, it does break so many things where it's not really worth it in my opinion. But we can definitely set up a survey.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how people will vote on that because that seems. Again, people have different interests. Some people like the UCARs, but some people have built metros. Or maybe they do both.
Yeah. I mean, we probably wouldn't be able to really track down what changes caused that because the actual repository hasn't been updated.
It's a very old plugin. At this point, I don't think it's worth trying to fix it ourselves unless you really want to get into really old code. But yeah. Okay. So back to this proposal then, just regarding the blue concrete, and I think it should be concrete powder, wool, and terracotta, just based on this, and just regarding the whole thing with the UCARs in general. Are people okay with adding this as a drivable block or not?
This is just the cyan version, right?
I think there are good examples of people using blue concrete.
I assume we're just not going to be accepting Imperial's suggestion of allowing all type.
Nope, it's dumb.
Okay, that's one way of putting it.
I understand that there is some value to cyan, concrete, and powder. It does look a little odd in my personal opinion, but like I'm not going to be using it in my towns, for instance, on roads. But like with cyan terracotta, at the very least, it looks sort of like a gray or concrete, so that one makes sense. So I'm less of a fan, but I'll go along if people really want it.
Needed gave good examples of where you could use cyan terracotta in his proposal.
This is
again, terracotta. I'm fine with.
No.
It's the
No.
powder and the concrete.
Cyan concrete. I misspoke.
Even as crosswalks, it still looks weird to me.
I do have a suggestion. It's somewhat related. Why don't we also extend lime and green concrete as well? I feel like those.
It's turning into a slippery slope because if it's one more color,
Why don't we just add all?
Yeah, that's partially why I'm a little hesitant to want to do concrete for that.
To be honest, that is the other thing, though. If we are adding blue, to be honest, I think that especially in the UK, red would be a lot more common. They'll just paint whole bus lanes red.
Yeah. Green is also pretty common here as well.
Too.
Yeah, red is very common for bus lanes. Green
LA
is very
has started doing bike lanes lime.
Green is very common for bike lanes, as is blue. So I don't.
Yeah, I don't know. It does seem weird to add just this.
Legally speaking, you can't drive on any of those unless you're one of the special vehicle types. So, in the real world, you would not be able to drive on bike lanes.
I mean, you can. It's just highly illegal.
Okay.
It's just illegal.
Okay.
So
we better move on, I think.
But for this topic, let's just say the science is right.
At a consensus here.
Are we at a consensus? Because if people are concerned about that, we could probably just say no to this and just stick with the original.
I'm worried that it's a slippery slope. I'm okay if we do cyan terracotta because it looks, in the default texture pack, it looks close enough to gray, but I would prefer to say no to the other three.
I'm fine with just cyan terracotta. I see Chief's points. I have seen cyan terracotta used in many places. It also means I'll be able to drive on the walls of a Vela, which is cool.
Wait, hold on. Wait, are you just suggesting just terracotta?
Yes. Terracotta.
Yeah, I'm saying terracotta only.
Nope, I'm against that. It should be all the same materials. Yeah. That's how the other color.
Okay. So then if it's all or none, then I would say no. Would be my vote. But.
Yeah, because it'll get confusing if we just say just all these colors and then blue terracotta. That's a very special case.
Well, but I mean, Mojang did also make the texture significantly different. Like, that's the only one where it's not even close to actual cyan.
If it's all or nothing, then I'm no.
I'm neutral.
Okay.
I'm like, whatever.
I'd rather
drive horses on anything.
Sounds like there's not really much, at least from staff, I'm hearing. But what about public here? Like, if you really feel strong that you want blue or cyan, I should say. We're not going to add blue and cyan. It's just going to be cyan.
It appears that the conversation and GSM discussion is about a totally different thing. So.
Yeah, well, that's between you and John.
Yeah, sorry, I was arguing with John G.
So.
Now people are yelling at other colors.
Okay, if you guys are
cyan or no?
If you're adding more colors, then I'm definitely no, because I'm not adding both.
It seems like the GSM discussion chat is all about add cyan and other colors. So
this is the culmination of cyan theory.
Yes.
I understand that Cyan Systems has its history here. However,
honestly, I don't see any votes against it on my impromptu poll thing.
Personally,
that's not a very scientific question, but okay.
So,
okay, again, keeping in mind, everyone, that once we add it, it'll probably never be removed again. So do keep that in mind. But then again, also UCars we could disable it and this still be irrelevant. So I don't know.
No wipeout.
Or you could just use horses, which can drive on anything.
I think you're a bit biased, Echo. I don't know why.
I'm not biased at all. What are you talking about?
Do we need a survey question?
That's why we were talking about only colors. We don't add all the colors in because that's a slippery slope.
Big Steed is really really lobbying here.
Yes. Oh.
Ooh, and at here. That's
I
big.
hear.
Rip 104 people.
No one's saying no.
There you go.
There's good.
Is it
Wait,
complaint
let's-
about the ping?
I guess
Still
I'm mad.
a
You
no.
made Mega mad too. Jeez, come on.
Ping complaints are
didn't
getting
even-
almost as much.
Okay.
Okay, now the
Come
reaction.
on, guys.
Apart from
let's
the
get
other
angry.
reactions, it does look like
God.
people at least want cyan. So let's add cyan.
Okay.
Again, concrete
All
powder, wool, and terracotta. And that is it. No, nothing
then-
more at this time.
Yeah,
You're
and then the
not adding
poll you
PA.
said you probably do that probably after the GSM tournament.
Is this
Are
how
we having
is
a
this how
survey
we
question
Rumble?
about
You
you
just have
cards?
to add
Yeah,
one color at every GS.
I will add a survey question basically saying, would you like to keep the UCars plugin or not?
Can I request that we do add background to like we'll add that saying like this is the reason we're doing this because I feel if you don't
I
have
will add back. You may actually maybe after Yoshi, you can give me the exact reason. Just maybe
sure.
some examples. So
Yeah,
I
just
can
remind
give
me.
some examples of cities that have metros that no longer
Yeah.
work as well if you
Okay.
want them.
Wait, so minutes, are
Felix, we are not going to use train cards. It breaks the MRT.
sorry, for minutes, are we just doing cyan concrete or are we doing all the types of cyan?
Cyan,
All four cyan types.
concrete powder, wool,
Got it.
and terracotta.
All right.
Carpets. Wait, no, carpets wouldn't work.
Carpets, it's based on the block that's under the carpet.
Gotcha.
Oh God, on to the next one.
Oh God.
What's next?
Joint
Back in my chair,
airfields.
you guys.
Oh, this is the fun one.
At least this is like the last controversial one, I think.
No, we're not there yet. We got some more.
Okay. So
5F and 6A could be a pain in the nuts.
Okay, so 5E is, if I'm reading it correctly, we're basically extending the whole rule where governors can combine their airport allocation with other towns. It's basically combining that with senator, right?
It reminds
Or
me of
extending that to
S&P
senator.
kind of old rules too, of kind of the airport method.
Yeah, that's where
less
that rule originated.
Okay. No one else will say anything, or should I?
I was about to ask you, Yoshi, since you had some opinions on it.
Well, no, it's not what I was going to say opinions, but more like we had a little not really pre-GSM, but there was a bunch of people and we actually talked about some of the GSM topics. And on this one, some things, so we brought up some things that we wanted to, at least get some, well, at least I'll say them now so we don't repeat the discussion over again, just to save some time. So there are basically kind of arguments on both sides for where one, like, well, actually, we do need to specify. One that needs to be clarified is that the 5,000, I think, is a typo. It's supposed to, I assume it's supposed to say 500 because 5,000 is the distance between Central City and West Vermilion. So I am going to assume that's a typo. It was, we would probably have to put a limit to, how many people could combine their airfield, because so it wouldn't be like 5 senators all at once, having the airfield. And the big issue that we discussed that we were kind of stuck on was, if it's between two we were thinking of limiting it to 2, and we were saying, okay, if it's between 2 people, then if there was a disagreement, then who actually would get the final call then? We've had issues with this before, where like if it's a group airport, but typically it's the person who is the higher rank, like the governor that shares the airport in the area, which is in UCWTAA when it was made. So we were wondering if, you guys had any ideas how would we deal with that situation if it were to arise? Especially if the airport's been already built, for example.
Would there need to be like maybe
someone brought up the idea of just having them agree on one person who would be the ultimate authority over the airport before proposing it? I believe that was Welby, actually.
That was.
Yeah, but we had some the thing is that's kind of just the reason that I'm more like iffy on that is like I feel like that's still gonna be an issue in that like someone's just basically gonna feel powerless, and it's just basically like you kind of give all the power to one person, which I think is still like not really the collaboration, which was the whole point of this whole thing.
Yeah, true.
I mean, there's nothing stopping them from collaborating.
Well, no,
I'm just saying if there is a dispute. I mean, assuming that they can, effectively work out their problems, that doesn't become an issue. We're just making a contingency in the event that there is an irreconcilable dispute.
Yeah.
Sorry, another question here. When it comes to companies, we allow for joint ownership, right?
Yes, and it's usually like percentages that they define themselves.
So I'm looking in MetroMap. MetroMap has a suggestion that maybe there should be an airport authority which could act like that. Like it would have its own, however they decide, they decide how to joint own
crashed.
the thing.
When you say airport authority, do you mean like it's a third party, or do you mean like
it's just some sort of entity, and it also implies that there's some. Maybe you don't need authority, but at least it's an agreement between those two players how to share.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
So would we say it has to be owned by a company then, provided?
I'm not necessarily saying that. I'm just saying that's an idea. If people want to put it into that sort of, I guess, medium or whatever.
I think is airport. I'm a little confused what you mean by airport authority. Do you mean like is it just basically a way to identify who owns the airport at this point? Because I feel like that's just another way to say it, or am I thinking of something else?
No, the authority is not. It is not owned by one single person. It is. Like it looks like he's saying that maybe there's a rotation of ownership, or there's an agreement of who owns what.
I think that gets a bit.
We could just have people come to agreement about how it's managed, like in each case, and if they can't, then just not approve the airport.
That's already what we do for governor airports right now. Is we're just like someone pitches it to us, and then we're like, we assume that you guys have decided how you want to own and operate.
Well, we talked about this also yesterday. We talked about, okay, what happens when we do governor, because we use that as a comparison. And the thing is, typically we haven't really had, issues in the past where people kind of like really want it one way or the other, and you can't. It's irreconcilable difference. And like typically what we've seen when that's happened, it's usually either A, the person who's the governor rank that actually, supplies the rank to make the airport, or B, it's the person that actually cares. Usually, for example, in like Konawa, Iraq didn't really care about it, so Solar's basically just took the reins.
But okay,
I think we could say that we will treat any joint airport as, being under the company rules. And that gives us an outline to resolve disputes should they occur, and also gives people the option to outline their own bylaws if they don't want those rules to apply to them.
I think that would work, yeah. I'll also the concerning how, again, you're just confirming this hasn't happened that often, right? The conflicts between airports. So considering how not common they are, it could be just a case of when it does happen, we'll
deal with it case by case basis.
Yeah, I think dealing with it on a case by case basis would be the easiest way to do this, instead of having like a complicated system.
Well, I would want to specify though that they follow the current corporation rules that we already have in place, because those are rules that we already have.
Yeah, that's something that we could just add a 2-sentence thing just to add. So,
and then I guess we should ask this first, which is like, is there anybody? I'm wondering if there's anybody who has any opinions that are like against the.
Sorry, one question. If we wanted to put on the company rules, would we at least want to make a requirement to say that they should make a company entity at least? Just so
I would say, aren't they just making a company entity by virtue of jointly owning it? Like that kind of seems.
But again, some people aren't as into the whole company thing as others. I'm saying for people who aren't, are we going to force them to form this essentially?
I feel like it should just be like easiest way to say it. I think it'd just be like when you submit a GSM proposal for this, outline that will you have 50, like what percentage share will every person have? Will it be 50-50 or will it not? And I think we don't need to make called a company, because I feel like that's kind of like, because I don't think it's really necessary to call the company.
Well, here's how we could say it is we could say in your airport proposal, you have to specify the ownership structure, whether that includes players or companies.
And I think that's fine. I think that's pretty good.
That makes sense. And if you don't do that, we just ask you to.
Then your airport ain't getting approved.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I think that the only time that this would really become an issue would be if you have two senators who decide to combine allocations, and you build a 15,000 block airfield. They then decide that they want to split that and exit the agreement and stuff like that. Generally, the way that we've never really had huge issues like this where we've needed to remove an airport, but I think that the way that the rules would state it is that if you wanted to go back to having separate stuff, that you have to remove the old one first, because you only get so much.
Like all of the old one.
Well, I mean, because like between the two towns, like you have your 15,000 allocation or whatever, and it's like you can't like.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'd also have to say keep in mind that, well, I mean, yeah, in terms of the senator rules, right? Since you only get 7,500 per town, that would be how that would have to work. Now, if you do once one of those towns gets to governor, right? Then we default to the size calculation structure, right?
Right.
Because you are allowed to have multiple airports within
Correct.
within an airport area.
Yeah, the size limit. Yeah,
And that would just count into the size limit.
Yeah, 7,500 at senator, 7,500 or half your city, whichever is bigger if you're governor. Yeah.
I mean, with that in regards to like that settled down, I have no issues with the proposal.
I mean, and I just would say with regards to like trying to back out of that agreement, keep in mind that staff might not be able to remove your airport just because corporate tech logs get purged periodically, and now that we have regen kind of killing the server. So keep in mind that that might not always be an option when you enter into an agreement like this.
Okay. Last thing, I think, is do we want to put a cap on the airport size when you're a senator?
It's still 7,500. It's just 75.
Yeah. Hang on. So it's 7,500 per town, but I'm thinking if we eventually get to the point where we have 4 senator cities right next to each other.
No. We still
I think we should have
a
cap on 2 senator towns.
2. Yeah, we said 2.
More.
We limited it to 2.
Okay. That's all set then. Okay. Then I'm on board.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like it.
That was surprisingly quick.
It seems to be agreement. I'll just mention, just for people curious, there is a discussion that was happening in GSM discussion a few days ago where I proposed a whole rethink about how airfields. We're not going to discuss that now. I believe Cortese is also, and Gods has also provided some alternate ideas. Those may get submitted at the next GSM, but we're not discussing them now. They might come up next time. Hopefully not as controversial as this, but I mean.
Oh, they will be more controversial.
They will be
more controversial.
I want to be hopeful, okay? Come on.
I was expecting this one.
This wasn't that controversial. Yeah, this one
I was expecting an hour.
Because I think we got a lot of like the holes out yesterday. We kind of just were able to like say this is what we thought XYZ all done.
Actually, I think the next topic is probably the more controversial one. I think. Okay,
I have a very simple piece of feedback for this one.
5E or 5F?
5F.
F.
Okay, 5F. Go.
Project channels.
Yeah.
That's do we allow conversation?
We don't. Okay, we do not.
No.
We do not allow
we don't.
project channels. We do not.
Nikki, there's actually a drawback because there's still we're not able to moderate the project.
Any area that's moderate that's visible to mods.
Yeah.
Essentially.
That's a very simple answer on this one. It is entirely that it's going to be difficult to moderate.
Yes.
And we can't just exclude this to ones like, oh yeah, well, this mod speaks German, therefore we can have a German channel, because only having one mod being able to moderate that channel is leaving it.
So just to be clear, right?
We were talking about this today, and I think one idea I brought up was also like, if you do want to do it, you can feel free, that you can make a Discord, like your own Discord will also party. I know it's not used often, and I know some people don't like to use it. It's your personal choice if you want to use it, but party chats do exist, and you can feel free to use those as well. They're not used often, and this could be a use for them for people who want to use them.
Yeah.
I brought up the counter argument that I don't think people like using the party chats because they're usability. So yeah, probably making their own Discord is the better choice if they really want to.
Or just PMing each other.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And again, the reason that we have it is mostly just because having a common language helps it so that everybody has a way to understand each other.
we do want to recognize that obviously everyone's coming from different backgrounds, and there are a lot of folks who speak other languages and stuff like that. And so, like, this is nothing against you as a person. This is for the benefit of the community as a whole to try and agree on one common language. So,
Yoshi, should I mention the part we discussed about the rule itself? Like improving the enforcement of it right now.
Oh, I mean, yeah, if you want to.
Yeah,
might as well.
Yeah, so one of the comments, it's not visible on the agenda, but basically that rule that Chief just mentioned, I don't personally think it's been enforced very well, mainly because so the rule states it's conversations in other language that are not allowed, but it's also difficult for us to determine whether something is a conversation or whether it's just someone memeing or joking about something in another language. Usually the best way of determining it is if it's like two people speaking in the same language, probably is a conversation if they're doing it quite for a while. That's definitely not allowed. But if it's something like maybe people just putting in random Chinese characters or some German phrase or whatever, then yeah. And in addition, it's also spammy. I think we as staff haven't done a very good job of enforcing this rule. So I'm going to ask staff to be a bit more stringent on this and say like, yeah, like don't, even if it seems like a meme or a joke, maybe it should not be in or at least go to
if you're spamming like random segments of other languages, that's just spamming. So
Text Minecraft is asking, what is the definition of English though? What do you mean by that? I don't understand that question.
No, we're not making distinctions between Canadian English, USA English, New Zealand. No, we're not.
This server only follows Australian English.
Basically, easy put. Basically, if we basically just can't understand it, it's basically the main reason we do this is just so we can moderate the chat to make sure nothing, there's no like hate speech going on or anything like that. That's like the real main reason we have it. So if you're not being hateful, like, and you're speaking basically English, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
There's no reason to make this more complicated than it is. It really is not that complicated.
Next.
If you're trying to get around the rule, you're probably breaking.
Easy way to think about it.
Yeah, just please pretend you are a pilot.
Court doesn't have to pretend.
Yeah, that's real for Court because Court is a pilot and Court therefore must speak English at work. 6A, Epsilon extension of the Eastern South Line from Pearl Coast to Juhua.
Oh, right, that's fine.
Almost certain I butchered that pronunciation. Yeah, both of you up.
Hold on.
Yeah, I'm certain I butchered that. I'm American.
I was drifting into a peaceful GSM-induced sleep. Anyways, this is just a proposal to extend the Eastern... I felt that. This is a proposal to extend the Eastern Line south through Juhua down to Arcadia Merville. This will leave it in a spot where it can later be expanded to Zeta later on, but this is entirely within Epsilon. The route has been decided that it will. I've split into two phases to make it easier for me, so I can at least get one squared away at a time. Phase 1 will run through Pearl Coast, stop at Frumple's Manor House, the thing. Stop, then visit Port Lock, and then cross the ocean.
Private MRT station.
Yeah,
I actually requested because originally in Volt's proposal, he didn't put a station, and I was offended. So
I didn't even know it was there. I always thought
station.
I love it, Frumple Station.
But yeah, sure we can call it that. It'll then basically stop onto Juhua. There are some conditions I've had to obey with that. He doesn't want me going under river religious reasons.
Just to be clear, though, the actual like big ocean-y portion will be underwater, right?
Oh yeah, it will. I'm hoping to get some really nice looking stuff down there. I'm hoping to make a tunnel that lets you see outside into the ocean and put some new 1.13 blocks near there to make it look like a really cool. But that's largely decorative. From there, it'll stop at E35. I think at E35 there's this weird structure which I think is part of Cremona. I don't know. I can't verify it. From there, it'll hit just head south, hit Cremona, and basically follow the A54 till about just north of Arcadia, in which point it banks south.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Also, I don't know if we should, but I know there were at points some complaints about the design of the Savannah line. So should we have Vulpicula, like if you're gonna do, because it sounds like you do plan on doing some somewhat unique designs for like
Sort
the
of.
track
Is it
and
more the
station
fact that
layout and whatnot.
Savannah line stations are an even number of blocks wide?
There is one. I'll let you go first.
I guess my question is just, should we have Vulpicula run those by the entirety of the staff before he starts, with the construction of the line?
That's fine.
I personally don't care. I'm actually surprised people were complaining about Savannah. I personally find them the most beautiful stations.
Yeah, I do agree.
On the MRT.
The goal with this is the ideal goal is to basically make it so these stations the station in the line is recognizable as being part of the MRT while also featuring some new elements. So it's something that you can tell from a distance it's the MRT, but up close it's got some things that make it uniquely identifiable.
Okay.
That's the ultimate goal.
I mean,
I agree.
Yeah, Volp, if you just want to... Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, what I meant to say is like with the MRT, when you build it, yeah, just like God says, it's your signature on when you build it. Like I definitely have done some variation of the Zephyr. God's did his own variation on the Southern. I think it's really nice to do like little variations, but like I think you'll be
gives
still
it your own
distinguishable.
character. Yeah, it gives it your own character.
Yeah, I think I definitely agree with there has to be some like character on it. I do agree with Cass a little bit where like I am one of the proponents of like I want to at least make sure the MRT is pretty identifiable because it is kind of the name of the service is kind of the brand. I at least do want to at least make sure it is somewhat identifiable.
I'm going to disagree with that, Yoshi, because look at all the other stations that we've had so far. Like the example, the Expo line west has a lot of weird bubbly like stations that have no actual structure. It's all glass.
Those are
I'm not talking about the stations. I'm more honestly I'm more talking about the tracks and stuff. That's what I'm more referring.
I can assure you that we will be making it'll be Soupy and I designing this basically on my request of him.
If you really want to be cautious,
step out a minute, I'll be right back.
If you really want to be cautious, Volp, maybe make a design, show it to people, and see what they think.
Yeah. I'll probably post it in either the staff channel or just general like. I'll be trying to use similar block themes, but as 1.14's added a lot of new variations of quartz, I can probably see if I can take advantage of those.
Have you done any like designs right now like you could show off or?
I haven't. I've actually the closest I've got is Godzilla basically saying I can use some of his, but there still needs to be some.
Another okay, when you do call phase 1 and phase 2, would there be a break in between phase 1 and phase 2, or like a yourself? Because I'm very curious what you mean by like.
Well, I was originally only planning on submitting phase 1 during the first GSM and then phase 2 during the next. I'd rather put too little on my plate than too much, but Godzilla Train was fairly insistent that I might as well try and shoot for 2. I figured it would be a bit much for me to do, but now I think about it, this seems fine. But yeah, it's entirely just a relic and also a way of presenting the information easier. Like it's just one big segment; it's 2.
I mean,
it makes an easier to read map.
You will have some staff that are going to be willing to help you with it. So I think it's if you do like ever feel like you are too busy to finish or anything like that, like feel free to like let other staff know. Like honestly, just do as much as you can and try to get as far as you can. Just if you ever need help, there will be other staff that are definitely willing to help.
Yep.
You got the other thing I need to bring up is that you also got permission from everyone along the line, correct?
Yeah, I've listed all the permissions and the unique conditions they've required.
Yeah.
Yeah, Juhua obviously has said yes.
Yeah, so hello.
Someone cut off. Volpe, I think you might have cut off.
Yeah, I think Volpe cut off. Yeah, so he put some conditions down there for regarding the line proposal and stuff. I do want to bring something up. This is Volpe and I kind of saw this when we were Oh, he crashed. We kind of saw this when he was kind of planning out the line. So the line goes through.
Back, sorry.
So the line does go through Cremona, and there are a few like stipulations that he does list down there. There is Volk. You do have the full map, correct? If you have it marked off. I remember you sent me an image. It's not like a full, but it's like it's something that shows the route of it. Right.
It's
There's yeah.
There's a literal it's a document that's attached.
So if you scroll down, you'll see there's like a light green part, and this is we kind of were discussing this early because we kind of found this out when planning this. Is that so? ES35 all the way to kind of like ES39, ES40 is kind of all Cremona. This is kind of like a PSA. Please don't make this big of claims in the future. We have with Cremona, there's been some issues with access claims, and I just want to take a second to notify this. Like with Zeta opening, don't make multiple claims that are like across the lake to purposely claim all the area in between. Like I'd hope that we are a civil rule and don't make outrageous things like this. The reason, so just wanted to bring that up because Volpe and I found this out earlier when we were talking about this proposal.
Did any of you notify Ramona yet of this? Or?
I haven't been able to talk to him because he's been kind of off. Volpe can see this because he had trouble kind of get contacted.
Yeah. Okay. I was only able to contact him yesterday.
I would suggest maybe sending an email or a Discord message letting him know about this. Just
this has started a while ago. I believe, if I remember correctly, I've talked to if I remember correctly, I think I talked to him and Soupy about this once. The only reason is because they both tried to claim like an island in the ocean that was far away from both their towns. So I think I've talked about it once, but not anything recently. So if I do catch them on, I think we can definitely talk to them about it. But I just want to say this out there for the rest of you for Zeta, there's a lot of land. There's no really need to try to hog this much.
Enjoy your argument.
So the line routing is fine, yes?
Enjoy.
I think it's fine. I think it's very manageable with all in one, like both phase 1 and 2.
I'm back.
Okay.
Because I think it's a really good connection to link it up to the southern line.
Yeah, and it puts it in a prime position for later expansion into Zeta. South of where it terminates now, all there is Mole Gulch, which Yoshi, you basically told me no steppy on Mole or something.
Basically, as long as you can't see it, because it's like a western town, it'd be kind of weird if you just kind of saw it there. So if it's like not visible from the town and it's close and you can walk to it, that's...
What if I design the MRT line to have like giant Texan flags all over it? Will that count?
Okay. We'll burn that bridge when we get.
We're still arguing about 6A.
It's more of a pleasant discussion than an argument.
I mean,
I think we're practically done with.
Okay.
Wow, my first non-controversial proposal.
So just for the minutes, we're approving both sections?
Yep.
Yes.
Both phases.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
I vote against my own proposal.
Yes,
Secret
everyone.
Hitler, where you vote against.
It's illegal. It doesn't go to
election.
Sunshine Coast.
You're Hitler,
Okay.
you vote against, and it's in Hitler time, where it's like Hitler's.
No, we've
Okay,
reached
let's
my
be
least
fascist and
favorite.
let's go keep going through these proposals. 7A.
7A.
Oh boy, it's a road.
Roads.
I
I can
love
pull
roads,
up
actually.
the doc.
Like, compared to
pull up the
other
doc.
topics, I love them now.
Yeah,
Hey,
it
don't
goes
take
so
my
fast.
This will be this will be the first Zeta road,
What
won't
do
it?
what do we think of this first Zeta?
This is absolutely ridiculous. We should ban it.
No roads in Zeta.
Will it
Roads are
use
illegal.
blue concrete?
How long is it?
So
The
my
road is
concern
approved
on
as
this,
long as it
there's
uses
nothing on.
entirely blue concrete.
I'm going to assume that Dine Map is outdated and this road isn't actually going to the middle of nowhere.
Where is this? Like in game?
Go look for where Tech Minecraft 54 is on Dynamap.
I've teleported to Thurso right now, actually. You can teleport to me.
Is that actually in Ward 9?
Oh, yeah, there is
I'll
actually
look
stuff
at that,
here as well.
Or something. Okay. Yeah.
Very
It's
small
Ward
town.
9, I'm fine with it. That's my only objection most of the time, and it's fine.
This is a
Yeah,
pretty
it-
small town.
Where are
Yeah, but whatever.
And then
Yeah,
That's
but
why
it
then
doesn't,
New
it doesn't really
Rail,
matter.
New Rail is just a reference. We're not.
Right.
Yeah,
We
we
don't
didn't do
need
anything
to
with it.
approve that because I don't think that's above
It's
4,000 blocks.
Okay.
It is.
It's only good for reference.
Okay.
I'm fine with the
First-
proposal.
Yeah, sure. I don't see why not.
Yeah, I approve.
Yeah, fine.
Fun.
First, Zeta, you wrote?
Yes.
Hooray, we
It is.
finished the road section.
I was thinking something a bit more monumentous, but this is fine, I guess.
Glorious
I
road.
expect multiple dedication signs. You're gonna
Yeah.
need to have a big ceremony, ribbon cut.
Need fireworks.
And
Fireworks.
that's all to get the entire
Shout out
Everyone's had a
across
team
opportunity
to run.
to propose roads. This was the only one, so I mean,
Seaplanes.
Here we go again.
Solars coordinate a fireworks show to commemorate the
Bit of backstory on this one. I was kind of the one who told him to propose this. This is basically screw you. So basically, this is a result of a realization by Captain Obi that the monolith, or city of Monolith, was granted a seaplane lake that was artificial, and his was denied. However, the one he was denied with was larger than the one that Monolith was approved. So, yeah, this is just him reproposing it. I'm not sure if he's made it any bigger. I think I did tell him to make it bigger, but I don't know if he actually did or not. But yeah, from the discussion yesterday, if I'm remembering correctly, it was denied because of Monolith was accepted because this would have been its only connection, while Carnoustie, as you can see from the image, has a massive airport right next to it, and it clearly is not hurting for connection.
yeah.
Oh, hey, Ramona's here.
Ramona's
I
there if
think-
you want to try and message. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the main condition that I would be wanting to see if it were to get accepted is that lake is probably really shallow. But I mean, like, it is big. Like, yeah, I understand the sizing inconsistency, and that makes sense. But
Also, there's kind of a convenient peninsula for you to put the terminal on. I think someone else said when we were discussing this last night to have the terminal a bit closer to the.
Yeah, why? I don't understand why the terminal's so far. Yeah, that's why I don't understand why that's so
That
far.
peninsula is literally the exact size of the terminal. It would fit perfectly.
Yeah, my PC crashed.
Rip.
I'm on my phone now.
okay,
I'm trying to sneak over there, but it looks like we're approving it.
Approve. It sounds like a conditional approve. I think because I think we want to approve it if he moves the terminal closer to where the planes will actually.
John G says it's a big mountain, but I mean,
John
I
G.
was trying to get
Smith-
over there right now. I'm near the airport right now. I was trying to get over to the lake that they proposed.
John G's online currently. If you want to go bring it up with him.
Well, he's not at Carnoustie. I was trying to get over to Carnoustie right now because I should be at the lake now. A little bit further north, Echo. I should be at the airport.
Okay.
Yeah, just TPing now to both Echo or me.
This is kind of a shallow lake. It's deep-ish in places. It's deeper than your average dark oak lake.
the peninsula that they're. I mean, it's a little mountainy, but like
I don't
you
think
could-
that classifies as like really mountainy.
But I think this is
yeah.
big
Like
enough for
turf
You could
seaplanes.
just. You could even have like a cool terminal incorporated with the mountain. I don't.
Oh yeah, I
That'd
think
be
like
cool looking.
it looks fine.
Underground terminal. Anyway,
We should
Like,
ban
whatever.
underground seaplane terminals.
I'm
Yes.
kidding. I'm being.
Yeah, but I want to drag this on some more.
Don't give them ideas.
I don't see any reason to not approve this.
I think it looks fine. Just moves it close to the airport, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd like to. Yeah, I'd like to say move the terminal and ideally not have it be where the lake is only 1 block deep, because that seems a little shallow for that. Because when we did LD's, his canal that he was working in was also quite a few blocks deep, just in case.
Okay.
So we could approve this with the
Noted that.
condition that he deepens it.
Deepen it
Yeah.
and move the terminal.
Yeah,
that
I'd be
sounds
fine
fair.
with helping dredge it out if you guys want.
Noted.
Okay, cool. Conditionally approved. 8B.
Isn't that
So
that
it is.
mysterious phrase that kept appearing everywhere? Sorry.
Well, what?
But what's going on with people's microphones? They're like,
Hmm.
Okay, so Dalt is asking for 10,000 for Survivor season 3.
that's not how money adds up.
No.
How do you get
5,000.
that?
Where did you get 10,000 from?
Because I
5,000
misread,
like last time. That's what
I
Dalton
misread the 5,000 like last time. So he's requesting
Oh,
5,000.
okay.
Then he
I'm fine.
gives the divisions.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. It's
Fine with me?
same as last time.
It is
Yeah,
an event
till
that has
tomorrow.
been previously known to be run well. So unlike some other
Yes.
events. Anyway.
Till tomorrow. It's my favorite set that I've built, so please come.
Oh.
Really, we just put this on the agenda so that Yoshi can advertise
Advertisement.
Survivor.
Advertisement.
Approved. Stamp.
All right, let's do it.
Sure, go ahead.
That was easy. Okay, 8C, Eastern Canals.
Canals. First canals of Zeta. Yeet.
There's a map underneath it.
For like scale, roughly how long are these?
Long. Those look pretty long.
Those look pretty long. Like,
Distance.
You look
would
at
be nice.
Secunda, where Mossy is. You can see like the bridges and stuff.
Wait,
So
we
length-
approved 8B, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so we're on
Yeah.
8C now.
Yes.
Yes.
Someone get like a number.
Those look to be like 1,000.
Does
the longer one?
Does the length matter that much, considering that's probably the closest possible place to connect those water bodies anyway?
Yeah.
I just want to get some sort of a scale for what.
If you look on Dyn map, it's pretty easy to spot. It's in the east of the map.
I mean, you could use the
Northeast-ish
jungle
or
line
centrally.
as like you could use the jungle line stations as a sort of ruler.
Yeah, I see. Okay.
Yeah, it's not bad actually. That's
I'm
yeah.
fine with it. Plus, it's
And I'm sure he'll do
coordinated.
it pretty well. He's good at.
I've never seen an MRT line used as a ruler before, but
If you can do,
Yes,
one
it
thing I
is.
think
It's
you can
about
do
5
is,
MRT.
Yes, 5 MRT units.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. Stamp.
I know there was a comment that Yoshi had underneath it about widening the area.
Court's here right now, I believe. I'm not sure. Is he,
By
Court, are
that,
you not in?
Yoshi?
Can you hear me?
So does he mean
Hi, Yoshi.
connected
Yeah,
to
we
the
can hear you.
lake
Hello?
where Mossy is adjacent?
No.
We
So
hear you,
if
Yoshi.
you okay, so Court, are you here? Just want to double check. Is Court here?
Court is not in voice.
He's not.
Is he? He's. But basically, if you look to the north, so basically, obviously these canals are trying to connect, to the main bodies of water. I actually just want to note to him, like in the north, it's the island that's directly east of Mossy. I think.
Oh, I've already been there. There's enough space.
There's okay. Good, there is. Okay, I just wanted to double check that.
I originally planned to build a town up there. I couldn't abandon it, but
All right, perfect. Just wanted to make sure that was
So,
viable for both.
yeah, there's enough space there.
All right, perfect then. I think. Anything else?
Nope.
No.
Sure.
Canals.
I'm fine with that.
yeah, I
Icebergs.
think
Icebergs.
There's icebergs south of the Sunshine Coast. They're kind of blocking ships and stuff, so I thought it would be the best to remove them. Fred also agrees he has a town south of them. Yeah.
I mean, makes sense.
I originally thought that I suggested that at least maybe a pathway could be made, but it's if Fred doesn't want the icebergs either, then
Yeah, and I don't
there's no
particularly
other-
want them on my southern shore either. So it's like 3 different. So
Yeah.
like we might as well just remove all of them and get it
There's
over
no
with.
other way to give complete access to Fred's town.
Yeah, I would say.
And we're planning on maybe building a bridge across there at one point
Yeah.
and whatever. So
Be careful of the water refreezing because sometimes that happens in cold ocean.
yeah, might have to set the biome when that's possible without
I don't.
damaging the server.
It'll only be like small areas. You'll probably be fine though.
And also,
Doesn't
with the biome,
doesn't it
the
only
biome
freeze
setting.
when it's raining?
It will
Well-
not freeze over that distance.
It won't freeze over the whole thing. It's just
Rain-
some random things.
rain's
might
never
turn
turned
ice.
on anyway. So yeah.
Well, it's happened before
It
when
has
I've.
to be It will not freeze in just like straight water. It has to be a certain distance from.
Well, no, I meant because I was working in a cold ocean biome, or no, it was frozen ocean biome, and randomly one of the blocks turned to ice, and I was just like, what? So I just wanted to like let you know, okay, like sometimes apparently that might happen, even if it's not raining.
Unfortunately, it doesn't matter because we can't do set biome anyway at this point. So
So
start by removing
again,
that.
let you know.
I guess I'll have to just deal with it until set biome is a thing. If it
Warning,
does.
please.
So
Guys,
approved.
like, you can do set biome. It's just really laggy. and
Yeah, no, but I don't want to
issues,
crash
but-
the server.
Right. So
No,
like,
we just said we're not allowing that command to be run. So
Well, I know I've worked with frozen rivers in Larkspur, and they do like the frozen rivers refreeze over, but I'm not sure how the scale would transfer.
so Echo, try it out and see what happens.
All right.
okay.
It's based on proximity, so it in the middle would be clear at the very least.
In theory, wouldn't you be able to also set like a world guard if it does basically keep freezing and for
I don't
annoying
really think we should just put mana world regions for that though.
Yeah.
Next.
Okay, canal. It is
Canal.
very short.
I've had a look at this. Approved.
Yeah. At,
Fine with
just
me.
like
at that point, should a canal that long even need to be approved?
I
Technically,
decided to put it
yes,
up.
because we
I put
can't
it-
have people just destroying
Yeah,
shit
it's in the
of
middle of
nowhere without an
nowhere.
attached town. If there was a town here, then
There's literally no town. I think the closest town is either a little Eristrazzle thing or Yoshi's Island.
That land is basically just begging for a canal.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Okay,
very
good.
short. It's like I'll probably like when less people are on, I'll just get brush and just like remove that little
Yeah.
land bridge.
Yeah.
Stamp.
That's why not?
Console just kicked 2 Italians at the same time. Anyway, that's weird.
Well, I guess
Oh.
it's Italians.
Oh, they're supposed to be quarantined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see any problem with this. Just yeah.
No,
it's
looks fine.
good that you propose as a caution, just as a caution, Vicky. So just
Yeah, it's in the middle of nowhere, so I figured it, and especially considering that there's like the boats thing, which granted it's like it's a bit different, but still it's not linked to any town. So
IATs.
approved.
This one is
9
interesting because the
Yeah,
town is across the ocean from his town, and he's saying he wants to incorporate it into Espel.
Yeah,
I don't know how he's
Which-
going to connect it.
Yeah, that would basically be an exclave, and those aren't allowed under town rules, anyways.
Right.
Well, exclaves is in. Well, okay. Well, exclaves is in like because I don't know. Well, we've defined exclaves. Haven't we determined exclaves more of in like cities inside cities? So technically, this isn't what we would be not.
I
allowing.
mean, like if I claimed a square of land away from Sunshine Coast as being Sunshine Coast that isn't connected at all, I don't think that would be
Yeah.
legal.
Yeah, we generally are not fans of exclaves. So
I think more the purpose of this
Yeah.
proposal is just he's trying to get the town across the bay to expand. However,
Yeah,
let's talk about
I'm
how he's going to
fine
connect.
with the town being transferred as long as it fits the transfer rules, but I don't think it should be part of Espel unless he, like,
Right.
Is he on? No, he's not on.
yeah.
So it would.
no. he's
It's
not.
looking like it would be approved under the condition that it remains its own thing.
correct. I
That's-
agree. I agree with Echo when he said that.
Yeah.
it
Okay.
should be independent. It's just way too far.
Okay, conditionally approved 9B.
Conditionally approved under it just remains its own.
No, it
Alright.
has its own town.
Okay.
Okay,
so-
there we go.
Who is it
9B is
that owns
interesting too,
Scarborough?
because Decor was trying to figure out who the heck was owning these stations before. I did a little research, and F15 P17 was the whole situation with
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember
that
this.
town that
Pi Zero
This-
and all
Yeah.
that. So. And then also the previous owner did not specifically transfer ownership. It's a big
Mhm.
mess. So,
yeah.
but now it doesn't. I don't think that any of that matters now because none of them are active anyway. So it's okay.
Yeah, if they're not active.
Is this 2 IATs in one, or?
Essentially, yeah. It is both those areas.
Usually, we only do one per person per GSM.
These are basically contiguous.
Yes,
Like,
that's why I say usually.
I was like, the F15 P17 is one station. P18,
Yes.
I can see him actually claiming because that is pretty close to his development.
Yeah.
The other one, I'm not sure.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, personally, I would.
fine with it.
To be honest, if you ever saw my Premier City map, the southeast, this area here is kind of like a wasteland of cities where none of them actually. Some of them got to governor, but there's no real Premier cities.
Ken Rinaldi for Premier.
There's a lot of governors, but there's no premiers between like Airchester and Sunshine Coast and like that.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, sure.
Stamp.
Sure.
Glenbrook M14 to Kenoi 9C.
There's an issue
Callum
with this.
JK joined. So
Yeah. There is potential concerns from me though, that I don't think he has been actually active for a long period of time.
Yeah, I did look up his logs of see how often he was on. It's very sparse, like maybe every 1 to 3 months or so.
Pretty much just avoiding the data transfer.
Well, we would again. Let's not try to get like infer intent from.
Yeah, I'd rather assume best intent here. But.
Right.
Yeah. So I'd say maybe just deny it and get Kenoi to try to contact Callum.
I have tried to contact him for other things. He's not on the Discord. I don't think there's any real way of contacting him aside from hoping you run into him during the once every.
Slash mail him as well.
Yeah.
Admins could look up his email and maybe email him directly if necessary. So if that's necessary, then we can do.
Okay. So denied for now. Make a contact attempt. If there's been no contact after a month or two, then we can reconsider.
Or ask admins to email.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Red stamp. Frumple.
Hi everybody.
You have 10A.
As I've been alluding to in previous GSMs, now is the time to vote up the server if you like it. So we are looking. Well, there are actually a lot of there's a COVID thing, and then summer's and we're also on the latest version now. So those will all contribute to getting more players. I think we've already seen them. We've already seen some twats come in and stupid guests and.
You do like that word.
And sometimes new guests too. Sometimes new good guests.
Some of them are good people.
Yes.
Some of them are good people, I'm sure.
But to help this, if you could, please. This is also in the information Discord channel, the links to these server lists. So please go ahead and vote them. You will need to vote if you want to keep this up. You will need to vote these every month. So every GSM, I'll just remind you guys to do that. There was also talk about adding a Planet Minecraft page. I think we discussed that a little bit yesterday. We're probably going to put it off until maybe much later, maybe until we need it. But we'll see how this works, and we'll see. Hopefully, we'll get some new peeps on here.
But Frumple, how will we get the guests from Planet Minecraft who are here to review our server?
Oh, and hear the hand Callum book with a malformed.
Yes.
Give me staff.
What?
all the people asked from Planet Minecraft to give them staff.
I'm going to watch console very carefully, and I want to get my band in.
Yeah.
It's been around like that for
Yes,
years.
Mods, if a guest hands you a book with a link, don't click.
At that point, I think it's just Darwinism. They click that. That's their fault. Evolution
no,
is taking its natural
No,
course.
I'm actually being serious.
Yeah, no, he's being serious. Like,
it's very, you essentially, right? Guests can import items from their creative, hotbar and whatnot. And it is possible to create books, right, with things that appear as links, but actually cause you to run a. I'm not joking.
Untitled is asking, can people affiliated with a server legally vote? I'm not sure what you mean by affiliate, but technically anybody can vote. Yeah.
anyone can vote.
You don't necessarily have to be members.
So if you're a random person watching this live stream, please vote for Minecraft Rapid Transit.
Well,
Please.
It was a joke, Engines, but actually, seriously, anyone can vote.
Yeah, do it.
And I'm sure we're going to put them up on the front page, so literally anyone can vote for them.
It's probably going to get buried in the propaganda, but it'll be up
That's
there
all.
somewhere probably.
Looks like everything we had.
All right.
That was a long one. That was
3 hours
Okay.
and 6 minutes.
Who has
Please.
questions?
That's not that bad.
Okay, I am going to.
Hang on. Wait. Before we do that, Skelly, I need the notes from the trustee meeting. Okay.
Is he here? Oh, he's here.
Yes, I got the notes. Okay. So before I take questions, so if you have a question, get ready, and I will open the queue in a minute. I have 8 pages of notes from the trustee meeting. And
Oh,
they
dear
read as
God.
follows.
Might want to summarize.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just going to read them off. It should be fairly quick. Okay. Governor Gretchen Wilmer of Michigan is nominated for trustee.
Who?
Just keep going.
Representative Debbie Dingle of Michigan is nominated for trustee. Ash Ketchum is nominated for trustee. The MRT survival town of Bernie Sanderston is nominated for trustee. Use Mojangitis to cure COVID-19. Build a glass dome instead of building one. Nuke Hendon to contain COVID-19. This proposal makes no sense. Replace English with whale sounds as the official language of the MRT. Make a trustee airways to replace all other airlines on the MRT. Raise a trustee association highway patrol army and make the Barrett 50 caliber sniper its official weapon. The number 38 is promoted to trustee. Obliterate Fly Lumeva from the MRT. Make the 2011 Ford Crown Victoria the official service vehicle of the Army and the 2005 Lincoln Town Car the official vehicle of officials. Promote the words motion pass to trustee. Ban Frumple. Ban all staff members. Remove Sinvic from the face of the earth. Promote all members to trustee. Create Trust Track, a subsidized train service with operations as specified by Elite Neon. I hereby affirm that these are the motions passed by the trustees and on their behalf present them to the staff.
I feel
I have no words.
I feel stupider having listened to that.
Having said that,
Well, better
representation
luck
of
next time, trustees.
having said that, are there any questions?
You'll get one through eventually.
Yes, I have one for the trustees.
Serious questions. Right?
Yeah, serious questions.
Okay.
I do also want to remind people, again, with the survival server, if you have opinions about, keeping an inventory, the difficulty settings, or anything else about survival server, please let us know now. We will be putting the survey questions, but I think we'll get maybe more better quality information if you just let us know, like now. So.
Okay. I'm going between both Discord and Minecraft. On Discord, someone's asking, will they get any benefits for voting? As a player playing guy.
No, you will not get any. No.
Yes, if you don't vote, you get banned.
No.
We are not Mindflex.
Hey,
From
Chief,
gods.
serious questions need serious answers.
Okay.
From gods.
Serious question, when will I be releasing the member list to the public? I've been slammed with work stuff lately, so I will get to it as soon as I can. So I unfortunately don't have a timeline for you, but I will. It's nearing the top of my to-do list. Volpe, that sounds like a you problem.
No,
Yeah,
Volpe. I mean, if they're
ready. Are they ready? Are they ready?
I might actually say, well, maybe we should maybe work on them a bit more.
Oh,
Some actually,
okay.
there might be some more things we want to add.
So they're not ready. Everybody else, you can ignore this.
If people want to read them now, I think they'd be useful, but yeah.
Right, but everybody else has no idea what we're talking about and can therefore ignore it.
Wait.
Let's just keep
Are you
absolutely
saying
no
HVT
context on this.
edited the global region?
Any other questions?
Yeah, ping me either in Minecraft or in Discord. I'm watching both.
Yes, please.
Fred,
Okay,
what is your question? That's a silly question. I'm not going to
Actual questions, please.
serious questions only, please.
London is asking if we have any April Fool's ideas yet.
I have an idea that has been communicated to the admins and 2 other people who I think are hopefully working on it.
I don't know if it'll be done though. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
You'll see. Long story short, you'll see it when you see it. You don't want to give it too much anyway.
Frumple, can you look at what Cookie said in?
Wait, what's going on?
Where exactly?
In GSM discussion, I just want to say, please don't edit the global region.
Firework rockets.
HVT edited the global.
What?
What did HVT edit there?
Okay.
You have to ask HVT.
Okay, while you guys are dealing with that, okay, Matau, I don't know. Actually, they should be able to damage them.
No, so I was testing this the other day in regions like Central Park, where anything essentially where there's restrictions on people not being able to build, a fireworks shot by a person who does not have permission for that region will not cause any damage to anything in the region, including players. But outside of that, fireworks will cause damage anywhere that's just within the global region, unless HVT changed something last night. In which case,
I'm looking at console. I don't have any messages from.
I did update the global region on the new world to put fireworks thing deny.
That's what Cookie was saying.
But that doesn't work for Star.
It wasn't HVT. It was Mega.
It's Mega.
I mean, why?
That doesn't work for Star. Well,
but
because I was
why?
testing.
I mean, that's been a
you
thing.
didn't turn it off.
Firework damages entities.
Yeah, wait, yeah. Is there any reason we turned it off, or?
No, firework damage is denied. It was to try and stop firework damage from happening.
He wants to know if he can
Wait, no, but the question is there any
But my
reason
question is, why are we doing that? That wasn't something that we did in 1.13.
I can think of some reasons as to why that should be like that. But...
I mean, I turned it on just to see if it would work, and it didn't for me. So I just kind of left it as is.
It won't for staff, because staff are essentially for the purpose
all the
World Guard can do everything.
But yeah, is there any reason we turned it off and? No,
I mean, you can unset the flag. Yeah. I'm gonna do that now.
Maybe next time you make changes to the global region, just let us know, just so we.
Yeah.
Cookie saying HVT
pretty major.
My bad.
This is HT unset.
Yeah.
No, he did not unset it because this still exists. When I look it up, it says firework damage denied. He did not unset it, and when I look at console, it does not there.
HVT unset it. Wow.
Yeah, I did it through the
No. HVT did not unset it. It's still there.
Are there any other questions?
Metromap had something.
I will unset it.
Metromap, did you ask your question already, or?
He just has to be in the queue. He's on Discord.
Okay, Metromap, go ahead. What's your question?
Not yet, he says.
Well, answering a previous thing.
He's typing.
Yeah, I've got Discord up on my phone now. If anybody else has questions and they want to be in the queue, now be the time to let me know. Serious questions only. Are there any plans for naming the new water bodies in the data region? Yes, we're going to be doing this kind of same thing that we did with the ones in Epsilon and Gamma. So as towns are formed along them and a naming convention kind of naturally emerges, then we'll take those submissions. We ideally don't want to name something that has no development around it, unless it's like a generic name that that wouldn't really influence the naming of a town. So like the Northern Ocean.
Well, I thought it was just like basically if you basically have stake claim if you have a claim there, if there's a seasonable claim there. I would say even if there's like nothing there and like it's just like it makes sense like Southern Ocean or whatever, I feel like we should just hold off till towns are there.
Yeah, generally we're holding off until towns are developed.
Yeah.
But like we could consider it if it's a generic enough name.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it'll be approved. So, did that answer your question?
Train wants to know if we can build a nothing behind Frumple next GSM.
Nothing has been canceled because it's kind of just it doesn't really work anymore because of how the GSM is formatted now. So like,
no, just because I'm not the but
you're not the one who's
I mean that too, but also it just doesn't work with this whole public portion.
People get tired. I don't know, but Chief, you did say that you're not available for at least the May GSM. Was there another one? Also?
Well, so April and May are now on hold because of COVID. So so April I am increasingly likely to be at. May I have no idea. So yeah, I mean I think just because the situation's evolving. So when I know more, then I will share with you.
But if Chief, if you are not here for any of those GSMs, then I will be here. And yes, maybe you can play 20 questions again. Yeah, I should maybe
also, also there are ASMs too that have a different format. So, yeah.
I think that's all the questions I've seen on both Discord and chat.
Okay.
It's funny questions.
Any last question?
Last questions.
Surprised there's no question about the survival server.
Yeah, again, guys, you want to post let your opinions known now because
there will be another survey. There will be a survey about it as well. So if you want, you can also wait till that as well. So there are multiple ways to do it.
Alpha DS, no, survival is open for another 4 days. So you have until Wednesday.
If there's like a magical burst of interest, it's always possible to open it further, but that isn't looking likely with how things have gone so far.
Actually, maybe let's do it this way, guys. Maybe we should ask specific questions now. So let's start with this. When it comes to, for those who have participated on the survival server, are you in favor of having keep inventory on or off?
Should we provide context or?
Can you get some discussion, please? See it.
Please all type it in GSM discussion so it's all together, please.
And again, just use the word on or the word off for whether you would like us to have the keep inventory flag set or not.
Five, 4.
Probably would have been easier to do reactions, but
I mean,
we can do it
still
for
looks like it hasn't changed much in that it's an even split.
Yeah, it seems to be pretty even. Again, keep in mind keep in mind the context behind this is we're trying to increase the difficulty of the server in a way as a step to try to improve the economy, because with the economy it seems like it's too easy for people.
Yeah. Please note that
Chief, stop pinging here. Don't do that.
The difficulty would be lowered most likely, so death would be easier to avoid. However, it would be more punishing when you do. Basically,
Yes, got a big boost there. So
yeah.
Still more votes for ping than yes.
Survival World was not announced. This is more of a what do we do in the future should it happen?
Yeah, so
it's still close. It's still 11-8.
Yeah, so we did discuss like whether or not it should be added in. Like we actually had a decently lengthy discussion on it. So right now it's like if it were to be added, this is all kind of a hypothetical just because to work. There will be just again as repeating it. There will be a poll out. That will put out later about the shovel. It should be one question, I believe, for now.
It's now 2 questions because the UCAR keep or not.
Oh so, yeah, I meant about the survival server. This is one question about it. though personally I believe there should be 2, but I can see why there can only be 1.
To respond to gods, it says kind of if it is if basically this is just more concept for what if it does happen, we know exactly how the community wants it. Basically,
and the answer is inconclusive. False.
It's kind of
well, that's 13-8.
And then it looks like
the end result was something along the lines of 40. It was a very close one. I remember. I actually probably still have the time.
MetroMap asked the question of if a player builds an airport but doesn't have warps, does it count towards the limit?
If you build an airport, it counts as its size.
I believe the answer is yes. It still counts.
Yes. It was like right before we started the survival questions. I was trying to get that done pretty quick.
Just a brief reminder, the survey results from when we asked about a month ago on the survival Discord was 29 for keep inventory, enabled 21 again.
PTLD says, can someone ask if the airfield ban is still in place for Armada?
Yeah.
It will be in place until the town is re-promoted to senator whenever you run it for senator.
Metro, what's your question?
What rank is it again?
It's mayor right now.
Was promoted from mayor back to town.
Yeah, it's mayor. That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Volp, were there any other questions you wanted to ask specific about Survival Server now that might be interesting to ask?
Well, aside from just the general oriented to keep inventory, oh God, I had one other, but every time I try and do something like this, it just decides it wants to go waltz out the window, kicking its legs up. Yeah, I got nothing.
Okay, we can.
MetroMap says, adding on number 2, what if a player simply builds an airstrip and small hangar? Does it still count as an airport? I mean, even from what I've seen, it's still.
Why are you trying to get around the? You're trying to get around the rules, is what it sounds like.
Yeah. That's still an airfield.
Please stop trying to get around the rules. It's getting I'm getting actually quite annoyed by people trying to ask all these sort of little special cases. Like, remember that the intent of these rules is to stop people from taking up too much space with airports, which is a problem that has happened before many times.
See Old World.
I mean, MetroMap, just a clarification. You can literally see in Scarborough, I have no warps at all on those airplanes, and it's still considered an airfield. It has the terminal building, has a runway, and it has planes, but no warps.
Like, it's any amount of space dedicated to air traffic that's not, like, the exemptions are you're allowed your 2 heliports for free at Mayor. Your seaplanes are not counted in that. And if you have a thing that's just for people to jump and like take off with Lytra, anything else does.
If it sounds like it's in violation of the rules, it probably is. It's just a general thing that you should
Decorative helipads are allowed because those are really easy to define, yes. Decorative helipads are fine.
I do actually have one last question in regards to survival server. Would you prefer it to, if it, let's say in the hypothetical that it was added, would you prefer it to be something that is entirely running all the time, or something that's only running for like special events, making it a novelty?
That's an important question.
I guess I'll bring this up. So I wasn't going to bring this up because I didn't know but so during the prior portion, we were talking about basically, whether the survival server is basically a novelty, or is it a thing that is kind of worth a sustained thing, and whether that, and we really don't know the full answer for that. So because we had like this whole discussion, but basically we're kind of wondering, do you guys think that it would also be rather better as a one continuous sustained thing, or do you think it'd be better as like kind of like, for example, GSM town or r/place, thing that kind of happens maybe like, or like the screenshot contest, things that happen kind of once in a while, just like, to boost interest or whatever.
Oh shit! Oh, Volp made.
Hey, I was first.
Well,
let me remove mine.
Well, I actually, Frank, I think yours is a little bit, because I think it's better than, I think it's more complex than a yes or no question, because you can say it's a novelty, but like also want the whole thing. So I think there's various ways you can answer this question.
True.
So I think.
Should we?
Here, Volpe,
which one should I delete?
It doesn't matter.
I think it should be, instead of vote here, I would just say like give your opinions. Like if you honestly, like if you have like opinion, like I would say type it out. Like more than a few. If you have more than a few words, like like, give us like a full opinion, because I think it'd be much more helpful.
The fact.
Actually, hold on. How would it be both though? Because it doesn't. What would it look like that?
The only reason I would say like it's not, I would say necessarily just like, oh, it's like, because okay. I can see. Okay, wait, hold on. Now I'm confusing myself.
Yeah, because I'm trying to figure out like what would that look like? Like, huh?
So then then I guess the options would be basically novelty and host it once in a while, basically like any other event, or a sustained thing. Those would be the two options.
Yeah, I or maybe it's more like the intent. Like, should we try to make it a permanent?
Yeah. So that should be. Will griefing be allowed? No. That's not. Griefing will not be allowed. Here, Frumple, do you want to type the message so we don't have 4 people typing the message?
Do you want me to just repost it again?
Yeah, repost. I would say repost.
Felix, the MRT. This will still be the MRT. Like, will be the survival server has been operating on the MRT's rules, including don't just grieve random things. If you want an anarchy server, this isn't the community for that.
Yeah.
Also, Frumple, what does a check mark indicate?
What do they react with? What do they like? Do they say like?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like,
Frumple, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your favorite color?
Here, put maybe. Okay, wait, hold on. Here, wait.
I've seen lots of X's and like time, only like time limit. So
I know what time means, but I don't know what X means.
I don't know what mega means.
Okay, do this.
That works.
Vote check mark if it should be a permanent thing. Vote X if it should be one more like an event once.
Alpha was asking if he puts his 2 major helipads on the airfield, it doesn't count in the 75,000 limit, correct?
7,500.
Yeah.
That's a really weird edge case. I would say like it's probably going to be seen as yes, just for the sake of simplicity. Like, if you want to use your 2 free air helipads for the easiest, for the least annoying process, put them outside of the airfield.
Okay. It looks like it's 66%.
That's weird though. Like every other vote just had a wildly different.
Well, because we didn't specify what
you were polling people who were participating in the survival server.
Yeah, remember.
I mean, like the actual in the channel itself. The questions I asked. If you scroll off of it, you'll see wildly like for my first question, it was about split. For yours, it was 6, 9.
Because because 2 different questions. Again, the wording also. So we'll combine it all in this one thing, and let's treat that as the result. So.
All right.
Looks like once in a while is winning so far.
Would this be asked later in survey, like an actual long-term thing, or is this just a basic?
I mean, and honestly, it might be beneficial to ask the question that we already have for survival plus this question because it might be better to get more opinions and stuff. But
longer.
If you don't want to, I understand.
I can add it again, and then there'll be we'll treat it more formally. Then I can add it as another survey question.
I'd rather that. Yes.
Okay.
So we have the 3 questions. We have. Oh God! We have the question on would you play it and did you would you want survival world and did you play it and you get the other
combine in one question. Yeah, that'll be the first.
There's
question
the keep inventory question and then there's the permanent thing versus run like an event.
I don't think the keep inventory question.
I will not ask the keep inventory question here in the MRT because again it needs to apply to the people who actually want to play survival.
Gotcha.
So,
I'll ask that right now. I'll ask that probably after GSM in the survival Discord. So prepare for a ping from there.
Felix has a lot of questions on survival. Like you probably just.
If you have any questions about it, like I think Volp will be happy to answer those if you'll probably ping people as So
I'm desperate for a sense of belonging.
It is kind of the thing with survival, and I kind of ran into this problem with the OpenTD. You're not going to be able to satisfy everyone because there's a lot of different, especially the keep inventory thing. Like you choose one, you're gonna not make the other half happy. So
Also, Felix, as for the PvP, we had a plugin where you were able to toggle off your own PvP abilities. PvP is simultaneously allowed and not allowed. If both people are okay with the PvP, then they can switch the PvP on and then brutally murder each other with stone sticks and whatnot, as is tradition.
Stone sticks.
Well, I mean,
Yes.
if you think
Sticks
about
and
it,
stones,
that's
break
most
the
metals.
bones.
Well, what do you mean? Where's the challenge? I mean, the challenge would be the surviving, the giant exploding kamikaze bush monsters.
It's the same thing as in the MRT. To be fair, it's like if we're on creative,
Everyone has their own definition.
Everyone has their own. Everyone has their own way to play.
Yeah.
What's
this is a server or map that's focused on the MRT community.
The thing is, I don't think most people would like that sort of thing, Felix. This is for the community. I think if you're looking for a community that wants that, I think you're not going to find it.
Yeah, there are other servers that are like that. If you want something like that, you just go to those.
As an aside, what's happening in general? What's the thing about Frozen? Just
Frozen. Where?
He was in some server apparently.
Okay.
Because John G posted a picture of where it's on says Frozen, just saying wish them good luck.
Well, that's kind of final, isn't it? That's kind of ominous. I guess he's never coming back. Oh well.
How about we ping him until he does?
Do not
do not do that. No.
Frozen.
Oh,
No.
sorry. I bet not like as a. No, it's not a. Right. I kind of forgot the
Very
MRT is a very
simple.
stupid hive mind. So.
Well, just
Everybody
maybe
ping
no. Just remember, guys, on this server, some people tend to take things quite literally, so be careful when you make.
Right. Yes. Okay. You ping me instead, not Frozen. That'll get your ping juices all over the place. No comment on that.
Any other actual serious questions?
Random question time.
Okay, pinging Vulpicula is not a question. Let's go. Yes, it is Q&A time.
John G said Frozen said something along the lines of "I'm too dedicated here to come back." Well, okay.
I still don't know why he just up and left without a warning.
It's always been a mystery. He did show up, but he never really explained.
I guess that's his
What
style.
is happening?
Airplane, yes, you can ping Vulp.
Okay. I think we're done with the serious bit.
Yes, I mean, technically Felix is still asking questions, but...
Unleash the Kraken.
Okay, we're done with serious questions. Good Lord.
I pinging in general. That's just...
Yes.
Go, Fred. Unleash.
No, the bird poop block is to be enabled.
Why is...
I have a question for the trustees. Why?
Why what?
Just
Why?
why?
Why? The letter. Brought to you by the letter Y.
And the number 0.
Let's see here. John G asks, "Can we ban the bird poop block?" That's not a.
The only way we will enable you to ban the bird poop block, bird poop. Fuck. Peter Lockham GSM.
What is asking? Can I? What's this?
Bird poop block equals diorite by John G.
I mean, if you want to try,
we allow you cars to only be driven on cyan terracotta.
Oh.
Wipeout. The answer to your question is blue.
Blue.
Yoshi, no.
No one show up for it. The MRT has banned public gatherings of more than 5 people.
It's okay. It's okay. They can't spread the virus. They'll be in the middle of nowhere.
We'll stage walk out.
Yeah, they'll just all die in the middle of nowhere.
Is this now a
coronavirus update will
competition
be.
for how many different green check marks can we add to Yoshi's map?
Robin just
I'm in
pinged
like
me.
100 Discord, so I gotta.
What is the hell?
Robin just pinged me directly. Well, we're obviously not going to declare a national emergency, and we're also not going to. We're going to talk with the best leaders, like the WalMarts and all that. Try to distribute tests through them.
Might I propose an alternate solution?
As someone who may have actually been infected with it and not realize, you'll be fine.
I'd like to propose that we sacrifice the MRT health minister as like a giant human sacrifice on an ancient Mayan temple and pray to the sky gods that does something.
Who is the MRT health minister?
Whoever it is, I'd call dibs on eating their heart.
I think we have a serious question. According Felix Ann asks, I have transferred my alt, formerly Scarborough RT, to my brother Alan. Can he apply for member now? Is that, I assume that account's not ranked or anything, right? If the account's not ranked, I don't see a reason why he couldn't. That should be fine. Obviously, we have the rules in place of keep control of your account, whatever happens on it, like that is within your control. That is going to be taken. Otherwise, I don't think, unless I'm missing something, I think that should be fine.
Wow.
Yeah. That should be it.
Robin, how are you saying this is a literal incarnation of the phrase "eat your own heart out"? What? I don't know what I say half the time. I think it kind of explains how this GSM has gone so far.
Yeah.
What has happened here?
Great question. I don't know.
Let's call it a night then.
I'm gonna call that good. I'm gonna call that good, and you guys can
multiply.
And you guys can go argue about your silly questions in Mumble or whatever. But yeah, cool. That's the GSM. Thanks everyone for coming. Our next GSM is April 12th. Before that, we have a GSM. No, we have Survive It or Borrow. Please go vote for us on the server list. You guys also need to collectively decide who is going to own SW31. So now would be a good time to figure that out.
I call shotgun.
But yeah, cool.
Any
Thanks for coming,
objections to
everyone.
shotgun?
Yes, Felix, we are.
For our viewers on MBS, thank you for joining us for our live broadcast of the March 2020 GSM. MBS will be live tomorrow at 7 p.m. GMT with Survivor Vakiyawa, the first session. Thanks for watching.